What's up, YouTube? Yoke Gang, welcome back to the kitchen. So today we are going to make some Marry Me chicken. I have seen this flying all over the internet and I wanted to put a little twist on it and make it my own Marry Me chicken. So this is going to be Will You Marry Me chicken. Well, no, I'm not Will You Marry Me, because they say if you cook this meal for your significant other, they will definitely want to marry you. So that would defeat the purpose of actually asking, right? So with that being said, what you are going to need for this recipe is obviously chicken. And again, we are working with a saucy type of recipe. So of course I went to my chicken thighs. These are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I have cut them into strips, and probably about an inch thick strips. It calls for an onion. We have a medium onion. I haven't seen anybody put any bell pepper in there, but I had a piece of a bell pepper, so I said, you know what, let's just use it. Like I said, it's my version. So we have a medium onion and a half of a bell pepper. Also, it calls for basil. You can choose whatever you want. I'm not using basil. I am going to use baby spinach to add back into that sauce and give it that nice, you know, creamy with the greens. Eat your vegetables. All right, so what you're going to need is pasta of your choice. We are going to use fettuccine pasta this go round. Oh, yes, this is fettuccine pasta. You can eat it with rice, eat it with potatoes, whatever it is that you want to eat it with, you can choose to pair it with that. You're going to need some olive oil. You're going to need some crushed red pepper. Obviously, your seasonings, what it is that you want to season your chicken with. We got some garlic powder, onion powder, of course, that powdered bouillon to season our noodles. Mrs. Dash is another thing that I've been seeing flying around too. I've never used Mrs. Dash before, so we are going to try Mrs. Dash. This one is Italian Melody. You're going to need some oregano, some garlic, either garlic paste, fresh garlic. This one is chunky garlic paste. You're going to need a half a stick of butter for your simple Alfredo sauce. This is Italian blend cheese. In this, we have Asiago Romano and Parmesan. You can choose whatever cheese that you like. You're obviously going to need some heavy cream as well. Don't use anything lighter than heavy cream because you're going to have a hard time trying to thicken your sauce. And try to not use flour, but if you need to use a flour, just a dab, just to give it that little bit of thickness. You're also going to need some sun-dried tomatoes. This sun-dried tomato is in oil. I saw also some that, come kind of pre-packaged without the oil. And of course, chicken broth to deglaze that pan with all of the goodness that we are going to season this chicken with. So with that being said, are you guys keeping up? All right, great. Come on, let's go season some chicken. Okay, so I decided instead of salt, we are going to use some adobo because I really want to get some flavors out of this chicken. So I am going to see. Now remember that this seasoning is also going to help with your Alfredo sauce when we get that started. All right, so we have some adobo with cumin. We have some garlic powder. We have some onion powder. We have that Mrs. Dash Italian Melody. Now this one had no salt. See, I say salt free. And some black pepper. And then oh, geez, I didn't take the cap off. I was saying, ain't nothing coming out of here. There it is. Let's get some black pepper. Okay, so I am also going to put a drizzle of olive oil on here so we can get that marinated and stuck to that chicken before we add it to the frying pan. Get my glove. And we're just gonna massage these seasonings into this chicken. Like so. If it don't look seasoned, go back and season that chicken. As you can see, we have some pieces here that were a little left out. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more and make sure that everyone is nicely covered in here. Of course, I put the covers back on. So a little bit more garlic powder. A little bit more adobo. A little bit more Mrs. Dash. And a little bit more onion powder. Okay, I relatively don't like to use a lot of dry herbs when I am frying or cooking, you know, trying to like the first cook on things, because it tends to burn very, very, very quickly. So I really rather not. So I didn't want to put too much of that Mrs. Dash on there, although we did put a nice bit on there. Okay. All right, now that our chicken is seasoned, I'm going to clean up my area, and we are going to, as you can see, we have our water boiling as well as our cast iron skillet ready for the chicken. So let's tend to our water first so that we can drop those noodles. Okay, so our noodle water is at a rolling boil. Move this so we don't make a mess. And to this pot, I am going to add a cap full of chicken bouillon powder. That happens when you deal with dry seasonings over steam. Kind of gets sticky. Okay, let's give this a little stir. I am also going to add some olive oil as well before I add my noodles. Stop your noodles from sticking, being friendly. Oh. Okay, now to this water, I am going to add 1 pound, which is 16 ounces of noodles. Yes, I am going to break my noodles in half. So, half. Now let's get the other half. And drop them right in that water. There you go. A couple more. All right, so I am going to let this go. I want them to be firm, so maybe about 12, 13 minutes. But we'll check it periodically and see how that's going. All right, let's cover this back up. And now let's tend to our chicken. All right, so in my cast iron skillet, I am going to add some olive oil just to cover the bottom. It is smoking hot. Because she is that hot, let's adjust this temperature just a little bit to medium. She's hot, hot. And I am going to brown my chicken. Now, in this case, you do not want to overcrowd the skillet, because if you overcrowd it, it's going to yield a lot of liquid, and then you don't want that in your sauce. I mean, I shouldn't say you don't want it, but it's, you guys understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to fry this in batches. cut it in strips. And we are also going to use this same oil to make our I'm going to say Alfredo sauce because it's to me, in my opinion, it's almost like an Alfredo base. It's a creamy sauce to make our sauce. So we're going to let this go for a couple minutes, flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing with the second batch. All right, so second batch of chicken in. Come take a look. Well, yo, how do I know it's time to flip over my chicken? If you notice, it looks like it's cooked around the edges, but just the middle is pink. So at that point, you just start flipping your chicken onto the other side. And then we're going to do the same for the other side of the chicken. 4 minutes, maybe. Right, remember you're going to put this chicken back into the sauce. So, this is why I say chicken thighs are the best, in my opinion. Because it's just, for the cooking process, it just keeps so much of that moisture in that chicken. Now, if it comes to like frying chicken, or, you know, choosing a part of the chicken for me to eat when I fry chicken, no, I want a breast or a wing. Weird, but that's just how that goes. Just my preference. All right, so we're gonna let that go for a second, and we are gonna show our noodles some love. Don't forget about your noodles. Give them a nice stir. Check on them, taste it, and see if they're cooked to your liking. If so, remove them off of the stove. All right, so let's get this chicken out. Let this hang out for a little bit. So we get ourselves situated. Oops. Get all your pieces of chicken out. All right, so to this same frying pan, I'm going to add my onions and bell peppers. Fry them up nicely. As you can see, they're chopped up very, very, very small. Because like I said, I just want the flavor. They don't have to be pronounced in the actual recipe. I'm going to cook these down almost until they're translucent. Okay, so just take a peek at what's going on with this onion and bell pepper in here. They are almost as translucent as I want them to be. We're just going to keep our eye on that for a second. Oh, my stove is, don't like that. Okay, so our noodles, I decided that I am not going to mix all of the sauce and the noodles together. What I am going to do is I am going to put the sauce on top of it. So to stop my noodles from becoming sticky while we wait, I am going to put a half a stick of butter on them and just give them some time to like really chill out so that they don't become sticky. Don't cover it up because the cooking process will continue and you don't want them to get real soggy. So at this point, you're just going to work that butter in there and you're going to give it a moment, like so. All right, let's come back here and mind our business with our bell pepper and onion. To this, I am going to add a half a stick of butter. I'm going to use this because I wasn't prepared. And provide y'all half a stick of butter. Melt that down. Let's get some butter going here. All right, to this I am going to add my garlic now, because the cooking time between this point and when I start adding my chicken stock to just deglaze the pan is going to be moments. So I don't have to worry about my garlic really burning. All right, another couple minutes. And let's go in with that chicken stock and just get all those flavors up out of this pan. All right, so let me give this another little stir, get everything off the side. And we are going to deglaze, which the butter has pretty much done that for me, with some chicken broth. Just a little bit to cover the bottom. Maybe not even that much. That will work. All right, so now we're going to start building flavors. I am going to add my thyme and my oregano. Pinch of thyme. Some oregano, of course. This is not open. Shoot. My oregano's not open. Give me 1 second. Some oregano, same thing. Pinch. I am going to get my red pepper flakes for some heat. A pinch as well. Is that everything I got over here? Yes, it is. All right, so we're going to cook this down. See how nice and thick that is? Make sure our herbs that we just put in there has some time to kind of get themselves together. Oh, this smells good. All right, so we'll get back to that in 1 second. I was going to tell you to taste, but at this point, what you're tasting here is not your this is just your base. Your product is after you put in your heavy cream. Okay. But you see how those onions and bell peppers are pretty much cooked down to the point to where you can barely see them. All right, so now let's add our heavy cream. And we have a pint. You can use it all because it's only 2 pounds of chicken. Whisk and heavy cream. And you are going to give that a whisk. Before you add your cheese, you want this to thicken up. So we are going to pretty much finish the deglazing process with our whisk and kind of pick up everything that's maybe stuck to the bottom of your skillet. But again, look how fine those vegetables are chopped, meaning the onion and bell pepper. Let's give that a little bit more heat. And let's give this a second and we'll come back and add our cheese. Okay, so our heavy whipping cream is thickening up nicely, as you can see. Just be patient with it, it will happen. You're going to add your cheese at this point. This is 4 ounces of cheese. You can add based on how big your recipe is, I should say, or how much it is that you're actually cooking would determine how much cheese you would actually use. Okay, so get that melted nicely and incorporated. I need to rename this recipe. Okay, as you can see, the noodles don't look dry because we added that butter to it and gave it some time to actually, you know, rest. All right, so let's add our spinach. Our spinach. Now, this is triple wash spinach. Although it was triple washed, I still washed my spinach anyway. Baby spinach at that. Oh, no. Jeez. Get that up. That will drive me insane. All right, so our spinach is added back to our sauce. We're going to give that a second to wither up. I'm going to add my sun-dried tomatoes right now. As much or as little as you'd like. This is just... Okay, so that was... Okay, that's enough. Sun-dried tomatoes. Whisk that up some more. Now, this point is when you are going to taste and make sure that your sauce does not need anything else. Well, before we do that, let's add the chicken, because the chicken also has some flavor on it, and that may do the trick. So don't taste it yet. Taste it after you add your chicken back. Your chicken. See all of that? You don't need your whisk anymore, and we are going to fold this chicken into our sauce. Shoot, I'm married. Oh! Marry myself. This chicken smells so good. Or this sauce smells so good, I should say. All right, clean up, clean up. Food tastes better when you do. All right, so I am going to reduce this heat to low because we have cheese in here now, and I don't want the cheese to stick and burn. Oh, how good does that look? All right, so I'm gonna leave this alone just for a little while, just enough time for me to finish straightening up in here a little bit. And when we come back, we're gonna be ready to taste. All right, y'all come take a look at this. Marry me chicken, Yoki style. It came out so good. Like I told you, this was my first time actually trying this recipe, and it was delicious. I'm glad I added my little spin to it because it really took it to another level. All right, for plating, I am going to add my noodles. See? Yeah, excuse me, I gotta pick that up. That's gonna drive me insane. Okay, so instead of me adding the noodles to the chicken, I just went ahead and I'm gonna plate it separately so we can have a nice visual of what it is that we got going on here. So, and on top of that chicken, I hope y'all already taste y'all sauce and made any adjustments if needed. No adjustments was needed. So we are just going to add this right on top of that, like so. Don't play with them. Don't play with her. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the prettier side. Will you marry her chicken? Oh, it looks so good and it smells so good. Now, I'm not a fan of sun-dried tomatoes, so I just wanted to give it another chance and see how it actually works out in this recipe. But I'm going to take this first bite. Oh, I know it's hot. I'm scared it's hot. Okay. Try the noodles first. Not because I cooked it, but this is good. And again, those chicken thighs are just so moist and bursting with flavor. That already knows she danced. It's good. Listen, you must try this. Try it, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how it tastes. Let me know what you did different. Yoke Gang, if you have not yet checked out www.yokegang.com, make sure that you do. Pick up a t-shirt or a patch. As a matter of fact, if you're interested in joining the Yoke Gang All In, make sure you hit the link and go ahead and join. But this is good. Wow. Y'all already know I love y'all for life and I'm ready to eat.